Welcome to the Creative Design Experience. Today we are continuing our session. And today's session we are talking about layout and composition. I'm your tutor for today, and my name is Godwin Yabua. Uh, if you are joining us, please, if you are watching us, please kindly introduce yourself, your name, and where you are watching us from in the comment section or in the chat. Just your name and then where you're watching us from. I'll be glad to connect with you. I would like to know you, and I'll be very happy if you could invite your friends over. If you could invite your friends over. If you could invite your friends over, just share the link, share the link with your friends so that they could join today's live. Today we are talking about layout and composition, and for today we are going to be practical. Today we'll enter Photoshop and we'll do something new for today. For almost weeks now we've not used any design software, but for today we are going to use a design software. So I'll be very glad if you could share the link with your friends, leave your name in the comment section or in the chat section. I'll be very glad to know you. My name is Kwame Yabua, your instructor for today. My name is Kwame Yabua, your instructor for today. Welcome to the Creative Design Experience, brought to you by the Cheeser from KNUST, in collaboration with Learners Club and Guard Academy, to present to you a graphic design training which will help you earn your graphic design skills. If you already have the graphic design skills, it will also help you hone your skills in the industry. So please share the link, leave your name and then where you're watching from in the chat section. I'll be very glad to know you. So it's like the blueprint of your design, where you decide how the text, the images, the graphics, and other elements will be positioned. So looking at the image on our right side, look at how they've arranged the text and then the images. We have rectangles with text on them, made some of the text very bold, and then how they've used, you look at the spacing, they realize that they are aligned. Over here we have the images here aligning to each other. They've given the arrangement. So layout is talking about the arrangement, whereas we have good arrangement over here. Now when a well thought out layout not only makes your design aesthetically pleasing, but it also influences how effectively your message is conveyed. So when you pick a newspaper, you realize that the arrangement of the text and all the stories helps you understand, okay, the arrangement will even help you understand that this story is different from this story, then I will be able to read this story in this particular page. So you see, this arrangement helps convey the message effectively. Now there are some key aspects of layout. So when we talk about layout, there are certain things you need to take note. First of all is grid. So in the context of design and layout, a grid is a system of horizontal and vertical lines that intersect to create a framework for organizing and aligning visual elements on a page or within a design. So grids are used to establish structure, consistency, and visual harmony in various types of design, such as print media, the web pages, posters, and more. That's it. Now when you talk about grid, this is how it looks like. It's just vertical and horizontal lines. So this is how it looks, just vertical and horizontal lines. Now, and this is how it is used. We use grid in our design to ensure alignment. I don't know whether you remember when we talked about design principles, we talked about alignment. So in order to make sure that some of your designs are aligned, we use grid to ensure that our design is well aligned. Now the second one is white space, which is also sometimes also other designers use negative space. The word negative space, they are the same, white space and negative space. So white space is the empty area in your design where you have nothing, you have no elements there. So looking at the design on my right, realize that it has a lot of empty space. There are a lot of places, it's just two things, it's just that signboard and some small text on the left. So the spacing, there are a lot of space that has been left, has created some separation between the image and then the text, making it easier for you to distinguish lead of the spirit on the right side of the design, on the left side of the design. So being led of the spirit on the right, you whenever you pick this particular design, you see that time it's occurring. So it is all Fridays in February. So everything is there, and then they've put all the other information which are less necessary. So the necessary ones are the ones they've placed emphasis on at the left, more text there. So this is essential for creating balance. Plus this design is very balanced. It guards your eyes and prevents visual clutter. You don't realize that everything is not placed anyhow in the design, and everything is well aligned on the left side. So our second one is alignment. So when you're talking about layout, you need to keep this in mind. Alignment, that is the main reason we use grid. So aligning elements such as text and images, it helps you create order and organization in your design. So different types of alignments, we have left alignment, right alignment, center alignment. We also have justified, which can convey in different message. So when I use right alignment and left alignment, they all can convey a different message. When you pick a normal formal letter that we've been writing, realize that our address is right aligned, and then the address of the recipient is left aligned. So it tells different stories, it carries different message. So when you change it, you are creating a different thing. You are not typing normal formal letter. You get me? So looking at the design on my right here, I realize that it's well aligned. Everything was well aligned, and this made it what? It helped create order. Now, the fourth thing you should keep in mind is layout. Sorry, it's in layout is hierarchy. In layout is hierarchy, and we've talked about hierarchy when we did design principles. So that was day one. So layout determines the visual hierarchy of your element. So it helps you decide what should catch the viewer's eye first, second, and so on. So when I pick your design, you should be able to guide me. What should I read first? What should I read second? So proper hierarchy aids in communication and user engagement. Now, the fifth one you should keep in mind when you talk about layout is maintaining a consistent layout across a series of designs or pages is important for branding and readability. The layout is very important for branding and readability. Layout, being consistent with the layout. So every day, if maybe you build a brand, every day your designs are right aligned. It's also it creates brand. Like that's how it makes your brand recognizable. So because most brands use left alignment. So if your brand is always using right alignment, whenever I see a design, I see right alignment, and I don't even see your logo, it tells a story. Okay, this thing is from these people. You get me? So that is how layout is. It's layout helps in design. So probably at this time, I think you might have a question. Don't wait till the don't wait till your end, please. You can start asking your question in the comment section or in the chat as we go, and I'll pause here to wait for your question. I'll pause here to wait for your question. If no question, I'll continue. So let's pause for a while. I'm waiting for you to finish typing. And if this video isn't live, if you are watching this video and it's not live, I'll say you can leave your question in the comment section. But if it is you are watching us during this live, I think you should leave your question in the chat and I'll attend to you. So let's continue. So we have composition. Today we are talking about composition. Now, when you say composition, it deals with how individual elements are arranged within the layout. So the layout that you've drawn, the layout, maybe you've divided your page into three. One part is for image, another part is for text, another part is for white space. Okay, so the things that are going to be in it, the elements, how you are going to arrange them in these three spaces, three pages, that is what we talk about. That's what we say we call composition. How you are going to arrange in the layout. So it's about the artistic and creative choices you make to convey a particular mood, message, or concept. So some key consideration in composition include balance, 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 and proximity. You remember proximity? Grouping like terms together, so the text should be on one side, the image on one side, like that. Proximity. We have focal points, where you put more emphasis. You have contrast. Contrast is helping differentiate between what's important and what's least important. And then unity. So I think from here you can refer to the notes in the design principles. You can go to our channel and then you go to live, you go and watch day one of the graphic design experience, creative design experience, day one, and then you get the understanding for all this. So probably this brings us to the end of today's session. So I'll be taking questions from here. Before I go on to the assignments for today. So today's assignment, we'll be doing it in Photoshop. We want to be practical. I think the theory has been too much for some weeks now. Today we'll be doing a little bit about the Photoshop. So first of all, we go into Photoshop. So Photoshop, it's not going to be anything complex, something very simple for you to be able to remember, or something easy for you to do. We are not doing anything serious or complex. It's just an image and some text. So when you look at this image here, realize that we have our page in two. We have the top part for image and the down part for the text. And the down part, if you look at the composition, you realize that it is bold text and then small text. So dividing it into two is my layout, and then bringing the bold text at the top as the heading, and then the normal text as the regular text as the body is my composition. So layout is the arrangement, how I divided it, and my composition is what I brought together in the layout. Hope you get me. So this is what we are going to do. Very simple design, very simple design. So we step into Photoshop. This today is our first day, and next day is Saturday. We'll be meeting here Saturday too. So Saturday we'll be doing social media graphics. We'll learn how to design social media graphics. So you can start watching some of the videos on our channel. You can start watching some of the videos on the channel Learners Club. We have social media graphics design tutorials there. Start practicing until Saturday. We meet on Saturday, so we can continue over here. So for those of you asking questions, we'll attend the questions after I'm done. I don't want any interruption, so I'll attend to your questions when I'm done. So we head on to Photoshop. So when you open your Photoshop app, this is what you are going to see. Probably you are not going to see any design over here. Probably this is what I did for some people before we started this live. So that is why you are seeing them here. So all this, when you create something and you save it, it stores them here as recent. It stores them as recent. Now when you come here, you realize that we have create new, we have open. So you can choose to create a new project, or you can choose to open a project you've already started but it didn't finish, or you want to come and do some changes. So this Photoshop, you can head down to the workspace by clicking on that. You do not see, right? So for every mobile phone, you realize that you have what? A home button. If you pick the iPhone, the SE, and then you realize that we have what? A home button at the back, saved presets for you. So first one is recent, the one I just used recently. When we are talking about this preset, I'm talking about the size of your canvas. Do you want to design on A4 sheet? Do you want to design on a square like social media design, or what? So over here, this is what you do the settings. So if I want to do it maybe A4 sheet, I come to what? Print, and then you see A4 sheet here, and then I'll click, and then I'll come to create, and then I'll get the A4 sheet size. If I want it maybe mobile phone, I'm doing mobile phone design, I can choose iPhone 8, 7 or 6 plus, the size, and then click on create. I'll get a size. If I'm doing it for maybe presentation on TV or screen, I can come to film and video. I can choose the HD TV 1080p, and I'll click create. So this design we'll be doing is not going to be film or video, it's not going to be print, it's not going to be web or mobile. It's going to be a social media design, which is definitely a square. The reason why we use square is almost all the social media designs as social media accept square, the square size. Almost all they accept the square size. That is why we use the square. So when you come here, you can recent. I used the square recently to create the bed design. So when you come here, you have preset details, so you can name it maybe about what? Bear. Is it bear or beer? Bear. Okay. So we have width, we have the height. So because we want it in square, so the width should be the same as what? The height. This is normal mass. So normally social media we use 1080p. 1080p means you first of all check this place that it is not any other. We have inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, pickers. So we choose pixels. Choose pixels and say that, oh, we want 1080 pixels in terms of width, and then we want 1080 pixels in terms of what? Height. Yes, so you make sure that the width and then the height are what? The same. And then you check your resolution. You can use 150, you can use 200. If your machine is good, you can use 300, but I'll be using 200. And when you are done, leave the rest. Now click on create, and when you create, this is what you are going to see. What you can do is, you see this part is too much, like it's taking a lot of space. Not everything you are going to use. Some of us are designing on laptops and the screens are very small. So what we can do is we can close some of them, like libraries. We can click and then close the libraries. We can also click and close the learn panel over here, or tap here, and then we get more space here. So this is what we have. So when you come to Photoshop, the top here, over here, this top, we have menu bar. We call it the menu bar, where we have file, edit, menu, image, layer, type. So when I click on file, it has a list of actions I can take. I can choose to create a new file. I can choose to open an already saved file. I can browse in Bridge. I can open as or whatever. I can close all tabs, and all this of action on all lists of action every time. So all this menu, on the menu bar, all the list here also has its own list of actions. Now when you check on my far left, you realize that we have some tools over here. So these tools here, we have that's the tools panel. We can click here to make it into two, so this and that, but we can do it like this because we want to manage more space and get more space for the working area. So this is our working area. So on our tools panel, we have move tool, we have rectangle tool. For the rest, we'll be talking about them later, but not today. So we have the rectangle tool, we have the type tool, this type tool. So rectangle tool to draw rectangles, and then the move tool to move the rectangle. So now when you come to your right side, we have this panel which is called color. You can choose colors from here. So when I click here and I draw, realize that I can change my color over here. When I double click here, I can change my color over here. So that is the color. Now we have swatches. Swatches saves the colors you've used previously. So the previous times, every color you select, it saves it. Every color you select, it saves it over here. And it already has some saved colors over here that you can use. That is swatches. Now when you come down here, you have properties. The properties is talking about the properties of the object selected on your canvas. So when I select this rectangle, what are the properties of this rectangle? So when you come here, they tell you the width, they tell you the height, it tells you the color. Look at the color. I can change it like that. You see, when I click on the color, I can change the color, and you see that the swatches is saving the colors. I just click on green, it saved the green. So that is it. Now we have stroke. Over here we have this, you see this beside the color, it's called stroke. When I click on it, I can give my shape a stroke, and this is what I mean by stroke. Let's pick a color like red, and I zoom in. So to zoom in, you hit Ctrl plus to zoom in. You realize that you have some red stroke, red line around the shape, this red line, that is what we call stroke. That is what we call stroke. So now when you come down here, we have layers. That's the layers. The layers is just a list of the objects you have on your working area. So I have rectangle, so it names it automatically as rectangle 1. I can draw another rectangle, and then we have rectangle 2. You realize that? And then I can type maybe anything, maybe guard academy, and realize that we have guard academy type here. So it saves the list of the elements you have on your page over there. So at this point, I think you have the basic knowledge, the basic understanding of the tools in Photoshop. So today's design we are going to begin now. So first of all, look at the design again. Realize that we have a rectangle over here at the top, a rectangle at the top, and then some text at the down. So this rectangle having this image. So we pick our rectangular tool and we draw our rectangle over here. Make sure that the space around is even. And after that, we are going to pick our image that we are going to put inside this rectangle. The image we are going to put inside this rectangle. So we go into our file explorer and we locate our image and then drag it on top of the rectangle. So when you drag it on top of the rectangle, position it well to cover it. And when you are done, realize that there's this options bar here. So this options bar, if I want to accept, I click here. But if I don't accept, I'll click here. That is it. The options bar gives you options on what to do with this image or the object on the canvas. So if I want to accept, I click OK. Oh, but so bad. The image did not enter the rectangle. We have to make sure it enters the rectangle. So what we do is you come to the layer side. Make sure that the image is right on top of the rectangle on the layer side, which is the list. So on the layer side, right click on the name of the image, right click, and when you right click, you get some menus over here, a list of actions, and out of this list of actions, click on create clipping mask. Create clipping mask. So when I click on create clipping mask, it enters the rectangle at the back. You see, it enters the rectangle, and that's it. That's what we're trying to do. So let me take it again. You can release the clipping mask. You come here, make sure that the image is on top of the rectangle, and then right click on the name of the image, click on create clipping mask, and you get this. That is how we do it. Now we are come to type the head, which is about bear, the about bear. So we come select our type 2 here, and then we click, just one click, and then we type about bear. So about bear here, and we accept. But then we want to make this bold. We want to make it bold, right? We want to make it bold. So where do we find properties, or where do you find these options to make this bold? So you come to your properties panel over here. You can change the font name. Over here I'm using Montserrat. You can change the font style, and then you can change the font size over here. So the font size is the one that has the capital T and then the lowercase t with it. So you can click here and choose 12. Yeah, so 12 is okay. Because it is heading, I want to make it bold, because that is what I want you to read first. So we have bold here. When you click on we have the font style here. Click on the font style, you see bold. Click on bold. It makes it bold. Now, I want to create the body text. That is what I want to do. The body text, which is, I'm talking about this text over here. I want to type it. So what I'll do is, in Photoshop, with my type tool selected, I come here where I want to start typing, where I want it to start. I click and drag to create a text box in Photoshop. So this is how we create text box in Photoshop. So click and drag to create this. After releasing, you realize that it fills this text box with its own words. So it gives you these words to use. Now you can use your own words. You can delete them and then what? Use your own words. But I want to edit this text over here because in my composition the heading is bold and then the body should be regular text, not also bold. If the heading is bold and then the body is bold, you can't identify which one is the heading, which one is the body. You might even confuse yourself by adding the heading to the body and thinking that they are one. No. So first of all, what I'm going to do is make sure this is not having the same font style as the heading. So you come to the font style, click on it. You see this down arrow here, you click on it and then you come and select what? Medium. When I select medium, this is what I get. Be the same size as my heading. So I come to the size, font size, and I click on this down arrow here and then I'll select 8. Then after selecting the 8, I have my type text here. The text I'll be putting over there here. I don't want to be typing. It will make the video very long, to make today's session too long. So I right click and then copy. I might share it in a group, or you can search it from Wikipedia and copy your text and then paste. So over here I just right click and you see paste without formatting. Paste here and okay. So this is what we have, but I want to change the color. So when it comes to your properties side, you have this color, so you can change the color from here. Let me do it again. So you select your move to select your text, make sure that this is aligned. So we are done for today's session. So this is the assignment for today. We'll be taking the assignment Saturday, because Saturday we'll be talking about social media graphics. We'll be doing social media design. That one is going to be fully practical, so invite your friends. We are doing complete. It's just there's nothing theory about Saturday's session. We are doing practicals. We might do like 3 or 2 or 4 social media graphics tutorials to help you design stunning graphic design, birthday flyers, food design, food flyers and stuff. So make sure that you join on Saturdays and invite your friends on Saturday. So that is what we are doing today, and we'll be inspecting on Tuesday next week, Tuesday. So thank you for joining today. Now let's attend to some of the questions. Let me see in the chat if there are questions. So at this point, before you could you submit the assignment tomorrow. That's tomorrow's Saturday. I mean Saturday before we meet. We'll be talking about social media graphics. So I would like you to take note and then uh take this assignment very serious, and also you can take more tutorials from our channel and learn more, so that by Saturday when we meet it's not going to be anything difficult for you. So there are more social media graphics design tutorials on our channel. You can learn more. And then to submit, here are the details to submit your assignment tomorrow. Sorry for saying tomorrow again. Saturday, the channel, the WhatsApp group is going to be open for everyone to share their or post their assignments. Or if there's any change, we'll let you know. So if there's any change, we'll let you know in the group. So what we are going to do is that you submit the assignment in the group. But before you submit, make sure that your name is on your design. So when you look at mine over here, so when I hit control plus, or control minus to zoom out, and then when I hold my space bar, you see that my pointer changes to a hand. I can click and drag to the position down here. So now you see that my name is down over here. So control 0 to view the whole thing. Is you realize that at the bottom right corner you will see my name, so by Godwin Yeboah, and it's also in the group, so you also see that. The same thing, everybody do this so that nobody steals your assignment. So you put your name at the bottom right corner of your own design. This is how we are going to make sure know that okay, this is yours or this is for someone else. So last this is how we are going to save your file. So to save your file, like how you use your Word and other softwares, you go to file. So locate the file on your menu bar, the top left corner, file, click on file, and then you from the drop down list you locate save. This one has been saved already, that is why the save has been disabled. So you can click save, and when you click save, the save as type is going to be Photoshop. So you save the save as type as Photoshop. So let me say it's Photoshop 3, and then I will save it. So when I save it, now whenever I come to create a new design, or whenever I want to come and edit it, I can go to that file in my Explorer, File Explorer, documents. You see it over here. So I have about bear 3 here. So when I click on it, it will open in Photoshop. It can only be open in Photoshop. .psd means it can only be open in Photoshop. So what if I want to share it on WhatsApp? So if I want to share it on WhatsApp or any social media handle or social media platform, what we are going to save, this is how we are going to save it for social media. So you go to file, and then you go to the same save as, but over here your save as type, the save as type should be JPEG, which is a JPG, not in short a JPG. So we have JPG over here from the list. Don't forget JPG from the list. JPG from the list. So JPG from the list, and then click. So when you click on JPG from the list, then you click on save. When you click on save, this dialog box appears. You see? So this dialog box that appears, you will see that they've written quality. So the quality, the highest quality over here is 12. You can choose 11 or less. But you can leave it at 12 because my file size doesn't reach 1 megabyte. So I can leave it at 12, and then I click OK. And when you click OK and you come to your File Explorer, you come to where you saved it, you will see it over here. And then let me open it. Now, this is it. This is mine. So I'll be looking forward to see yours in the group. If you have any question, please leave your question in the chat so that we attend to it. If you have no question, then we are going to end today's session over here. I'll wait for a while if you have any question. So since there's no one asking any question, we are ending today's session. See you on Saturday at 6 p.m.